Okay, Adarsh, we are live.
Yes, so hello everyone. Welcome back to our another exciting video. And in today's session, I coach others. Of Premier Chess Academy, like you already know about me. We have did few sessions earlier, but let me introduce myself. I'm Coach Adarsh from Premier Chess Academy, and I'm here from 2 years, and an expertise for 5 years. So the thing is that our academy take the kids from all over the world. We operate in 21 different countries. Basically, we take the classes for the kids of US, India, Singapore, and like we take the kids from every region, US, like US, Europe, India, Asia, or we can say Australia. Now the thing is that in today's session, we are gonna discuss about a very popular which has been done by the black pieces, that is Sicilian Defense. Sicilian Defense is a very like high level opening which has been done at the every stages. Like if you say the 1600 rated player, he can play a Sicilian. If a 18 rated player, he can also play Sicilian. If it is 2000, he's play Sicilian. And also the world champion of US and former world champion who is believed to be the like we say the greatest player of all time in the chess, Bobby Fischer, is also play the Sicilian defense. And you will be surprised to know that there are 10 variations of Sicilian defense. In today's session, we are gonna focus on basically the two variation of Sicilian defense that has been played. One is Dragon, another is Nitro. So drop your high if they're drop your high and just put a like so that we can know that who are in the chat, and just type hi if you are in the chat so that we can know who are there. And I'm just waiting for you guys. We can wait. Okay. That's okay. Yeah, we can see that. So now we are gonna discuss head away with the Sicilian defense. So first of all, before learning the traps associated with Sicilian defense, we need to know what is Sicilian defense. So Sicilian defense start when opponent plays, like when white plays e4, we play c5. This is basically called Sicilian defense. E4, c5. This is Sicilian defense. Now, how does the game goes on? There are many variations. So first of all, we are gonna go with the Dragon Sicilian. So in Dragon Sicilian, what happens? White play knight to f3, and we play we play d6. This is the black move. Very passive. We are just controlling the center with our pawns, and we don't want to commit any pawn in the center. That's why we have played the pawn structure like that. The basic idea is like we are playing the c pawn vision so that we can exchange up with the central pawn on d4, and then we will be having a center majority in the mid game, and that will be converting into an end game. That's we are not committing any pawn in the center. That's the major focus of the Sicilian defense. So basically here white does the thing which like breaking the center by playing the d4, and we achieved what we wanted to do, like we capture the pawn with the pawn and knight comes to d4. So this is the position where both the sides are quite satisfied with their position, because black has just exchanged the center pawn with c pawn and white has played the knight to d4. Now how does the thing commence from here? Here black attacks with knight f6, attacking the pawn on e4. And from a pawn, you say, if we are attacking, opponent will just defend. So white defends with knight c3, protecting the pawn on the e4 square. That's nice. So now what will we do? Here, as I said, the dragon Sicilian is a little bit passive line. So in this one, what we do is like we'll play g6. Why g6? Because you can see we want to develop the bishop from g7, because in another way it would be really very difficult for us to develop our bishop. So we choose to develop the bishop from g7 square. And at this point, there are many, like there are 10 possibilities in which opponent can respond. He can play bishop d2. He can play the bishop d3. He can just play the bishop f4, bishop c4. He can go with the ideas like knight h4, knight b4. But the most subtle idea, which has been done in the high level games, that is bishop e3. So now the bishop e3 has been played. This move is really very important in this position because now you are preparing for bishop g7, that is unfinished bishop, which will be take care about this knight. So in this case, they have already developed the bishop, which is protecting the knight, and you are trying to develop the bishop here. So they have already prepared for your attack, and they just develop the bishop to e3. We'll go with our plan, that is bishop g7, because we want to castle here. And now we see how does the game goes. So now after this move, there are a few moves which your opponent can go for. First of all, your opponent can go with the most common idea, that is bishop c, pointing towards your pawn and also developing another important piece. Second move, which your opponent can do, is bishop to e4. This is be done by some of the opponent intellectuals who just don't want your bishop or a knight to commence here, like stopping any kinds of threats. They are controlling the important squares with the bishop, and also on the sideways, taking the control over the. This is a passive yet protective move because white does not like that any knight or a bishop jump into the white territory. So that's the thing. That's why they play the bishop to e2. But yeah, let's see. There are both the choices, and we are gonna look for the thing. What if they play the bishop here? Okay, they play the bishop here. We develop our piece. They at this point here, white has to make a choice. If white did a castle on this side, it will go with a normal castling, which is a very normal, like which we can see as a subtle position because both the side has a castle on the same side. So there will be no kind of like no kind of a pawn straw. That means the pawns are gonna go for like attack on the castle and then try to take advantage. So in this position, what will happen if both sides have castle on this side? This game will go with a passive approach, like developing the bishop, rook c8. If they capture, then the pawn will capture, and then the pawn commence rook c1, pawn here, and this is the like the variation of a Sicilian dragon with opponent castle on the same side. But in the case, the most dangerous variation again in this white can come up with is not castling on the same side. Instead of that, he just castle on the another side, that is on the queen side. Then what we will do? So for doing so, he just play the queen d2. We play the bishop to d7, and now here's the time. If they castle on the queen side, we castle on the king side. Now here, you can see that it is looking white is gonna attack anyways. Like he has prepared both the bishop towards your king, and this look like a very tempting idea. So it is an easier plan for white to plan for h4, h5, and h6 so that he can break up the castle and go for the pawn straw. But yeah, like as I said, black has a counterplay here, and the counterplay is black has to play with knight e5, attacking this bishop and moving maneuver the rook to c8, controlling this square. This attack start with knight e5, and then it will go with rook c8, pawn b5, and so on. Let me just show you the variation of this. Let's say opponent started with this. We attack the bishop. Bishop has to go back. So now we'll move our rook here. If they proceed further, which they should not do because knight can easily capture it. So they need to first of all prepare attacks. They have to play f3 and then this. They can go for a pawn storm now. So now you have to prepare a counter attack. They're coming for it. You can play the H5 move, which will defend it for the temporary basis, and you have blocked this position. Your opponent can come up with this exchange, which black have to deny by moving the knight here and protecting this destruction. So this is one of the position of Dragon Sicilian. Let me just write it out about Dragon. Okay. Anyways, Dragon Sicilian. Okay. So we can go with an opening rap. We can see there are some people in the chat. Please type hi so that we can know who are there. And you can just type your name so that we can know. If you are new in the chat, just type hi. And if you're already with our academy, you can also type, like you can give me a thumbs up, or like you can just do something in the chat so that we can learn. Yeah, Kundan is here. We can go it. So that's great, Kundan, you are here. So are you able to understand the basics, how to start the game with the Sicilian Dragon? Yes, Kundan, that's great. So we are going to revise it for you guys again. So let's see. We are just revising this Dragon Sicilian so that you can just have a look about it. How does this game commence? So here in Dragon Sicilian, we have played d6. They played the pawn. We captured the pawn. They captured the pawn. And then, yeah, that's great. Then we move the knight, attacking their pawn. They protected the pawn. We move the pawn to g6 because our idea is to move the bishop g7, creating a finish at a bishop. And they move the pawn to f4. That could be an idea, but here they played bishop e3, protecting the knight. We play the bishop g7. They play the bishop. We play the knight. They castle. We castle. This is a position in which this will go with a normal subtle position where they capture the knight, we capture with the pawn, and then we develop our bishop and go forward. If this is not the position, then in advanced position, your opponent does not go with the normal circumstances, but what he does is he just plays the bishop first, and then he plays queen d2 because he does not want to castle on the same side as of you, and he wants to make a pawn straw with h4, h5. That's why they play queen to d2. Their idea is very clear. He wants to eliminate the defender, that is the bishop, for your castle, and also he wants to go with an idea of h4 and h5. This is the idea of Dragon Sicilian. Like, this is the idea which your opponent wants to go for. And in this position, you can go for knight e5 and rook c8 idea. So this is the basically opening which we can play with the Dragon Sicilian. Just an intro about the Dragon Sicilian. And in today's session is based on traps associated with Dragon Sicilian. So now we are gonna talk about the trap. Like, how will we play against Dragon Sicilian? And what are the traps that are associated in Dragon Sicilian? So let's just discuss about the traps. Oh. Now we are gonna discuss about the traps. So we will be just flipping the board so that we can discuss about the traps. So let's just go ahead. Kundan is here in the chat. Shout out to Kundan. Let's just go with it. So now we are playing with the white pieces, and I hope that you guys able to understand what is a Dragon Sicilian and how to make an opening with a Dragon Sicilian. So now we have switched the sides, and now we are playing with the white pieces. So I'm gonna tell you how can you play against a Dragon Sicilian and win the games in the best possible manner. So the openings will be same: e4, c5, and d6, d4, and they capture the pawn. So do we capture? They move the knight attacking it. Then we develop the knight. They play d6. Till this position, it is everything same. But now we play f4. And f4 is a very attacking move in this position, not committing anything. And now you can see, you already know what is the point of moving the bishop onto g6. They wanted to play the bishop g7. But now here, your opponent has to consider two things. That you can play the pawn attacking this thing. So they have to come up with same idea. But still, you can see that your opponent has went with the bishop g7, which was the earlier idea we have discussed in the Dragon Sicilian, that you have to make a finish it to bishop, because otherwise it would be very difficult for you to develop the bishop from this side. So, anyways, opponent go with the finish it to bishop, and we attack this knight with pawn e5. So, can you just tell me, Kundan, in this position, after this, pawn takes d6 and we take d5, where should we move our knight? Please type in the chat so that we can look at it. And just tell me, where should this knight go? Yeah. I'm giving you 5 minutes to think about it and just tell me. Where should this black knight should move? Where should we move this black knight? Yeah. Think about it. You can tell me any square like d7, d5, g4, or h5. Where should I move it? Just type in the chat. Maybe it has like a little bit of network issue. We can wait 2 more minutes and then we will go ahead with the plan. Because every move which black will do, we have a plan. I'm gonna just tell you what is it. Think about it. Okay, Kundan says knight g8. Okay, Kundan, that's a very different choice. Knight g8 could be a very good high level game, but Kundan, can you choose from this green square like d7, d5? g8 is not also a bad move. Like this is could be the thing, but you have found a really exceptional move, knight d7. Okay, so let's just go with knight d7. So Kundan, if you goes for knight d7, then we can come up with a very good attack. I'm gonna tell you, Kundan. Now, like think with the white pieces. How can we get for the most attacking plan, Kundan? I will help you, and you will be able to learn a very new idea of trap in this like live video. Like you are able to understand. Think about it, Kundan. You have 2 minutes to think, and we will be able to get. Shout out to the another person who is in the chat. Just type hi so that we can know who are you, and we can discuss. Yeah, go ahead. After doing knight d7, white will commence with e6, immediately striking the attack, like attacking the knight and the pawn. Even if, and understand, Kundan and another viewers in the chat, to the all viewers in the chat, I can just say if we can make a double attack right now, and this is just an starting of an attack. If your opponent attacked your pawn with the pawn, then this is not gonna end up in a good way because you can just capture the pawn and attack the queen and the bishop. And you can see that you have already eliminated the weakest pawn in this structure, that is f7. So this king is wide open, and if this knight moves, you will immediately capture the queen, like getting the castling rights away from the black. So now this position is not looking so pleasant for the black. So obviously, I think black should not capture the pawn on e6. Then what black should do? Just respond in the chat what black will do in this position. Yeah, what black will do in this position. Yes, guys. Everyone. I'm waiting for you guys. What should we do in the chat? Like, what should we do in this position? Yes. Yeah, I gave you 5 minutes, Kundar, and all the viewers in the chat that what we should do. Okay, so Kundan says, let's just take his knight. If they're attacking our knight, we will take their knight. Okay, Kundan, that's a good choice. Let's see another people what they think. Yeah, just go ahead, guys. Type your moves in the chat. We want to look at it. Okay, we'll go with bishop takes e4. Okay. So now here bishop takes e4. If this is the possibility, then you will immediately be in a very problematic position because we will take this bishop with the queen. And now we are attacking your rook. We are attacking your knight. We are attacking the pawn. And if you think that you can protect this knight and the rook by playing the knight at f6, you are wrong about it. Because we can capture the pawn and give you a check. And he will take. If he takes, then his king will again lose the castling rights. And you can see that white has a pleasant position. He can give a check, pawn push, and then you can just continue by moving your queen here and then doing the castling. Then focusing on this knight with all of your pieces like this way. You are attacking this knight with your bishop, with your queen. Coming rook will attack this knight, and also knight will join this party. So all the pieces will be focused toward the knight on f6, and that would be hard to defend, and you will be easily able to convert this game into a winning position. So that's the thing, guys. That's why we should not capture the knight with the bishop. Then what should we do? Again, we are back in the chat, guys. Just tell me what should we do then. Yeah, so in this position, the best move black can do is knight to e5. And if black to knight to e5, we will proceed with capturing the pawn on f7. So if we capture the pawn on f7, there are two things which black can do. If he captures with the knight, which is the best idea. Okay, knight b6 is the suggestion. Okay. Again, knight b6. How? Okay. You want to go for this line. Yeah, that's good. We can go with this line. But in this position, again, there are some threats. Like, we can just capture the pawn, give a check to the king, take his castling rights. After that, we'll proceed at this game by, yes, let's see what are the correct moves. You have took the castling right. Now you can just develop your bishop here, creating a sneaky trap for your opponent. If he takes, you just first of all, just a second, give a check, king's move here, and then you have to create some traps. What is it? Just I'm giving you a time to find. If your opponent captures with the queen, then he will fall for the trap of this cover trap. Or else, let's see, we are going with the initial position. We capture with the pawn, they capture with the king, and then we just develop our bishop passively and continue our. Okay, are you getting the things? Just tell me yes or no in the chat because we can see there is a silence in the chat. We just want your response. Like all the viewers in the chat, please type hi. Just type the move. What you think that we should do in this position? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's right. Hear you, Kundan. That's great. So here we attack, they play knight at d6, and then we have continued this position by capturing the pawn, taking the castling right from your opponent, and then protecting our knight, and simply developing our position and castle. This is one of the position that can happen. Let's just go with the best move which your opponent can do. Look at this. If they play the knight here, we will still capture the pawn on f7. And now there are two options. Either he can capture with the king or he capture with the knight. So what do you think, guys? What should they do? Should they capture with the knight or they should capture with the king? Yes, please. Everyone just tell me, what should they do? Should they capture with the knight or they should capture with the king? Yeah, we are waiting for your response. With knight, Kunal says with knight. And what about the other people? Just type it. Whatever you think, just type it. Okay, with knight, we'll go with knight. Just a second. Yeah, we are here and we are going with the knight. So if knight takes, now the ideas are very similar to the previous one. First of all, we give a check. If the bishop comes, we will think like what should we do the best here. First of all, we will create an attack by attacking the queen and the bishop. And those you know, why can't this bishop can capture your knight? Please type the tactics in the chat. And those you don't know, I'm just gonna tell you in 1 minute what is the tactics. There is a tactics involved because of which this bishop cannot capture your knight. What is it? The case I like Kundan and the another viewers who are in the chat, like most of them are from Premier Chess Academy. So I know your coach has taught you. So just type the tactics name which is involved here. Yeah, that's right. It's spin. It's an absolute spin because of which this bishop cannot capture your knight. And that's the reason you are attacking the queen and the bishop. So if queen moves anywhere, let's say here, we just capture the bishop with the queen giving a check, with the bishop giving a check. If knight takes, we take this bishop with a check. Now king moves, again you save your knight with a check. And you got a piece advantage. And yeah, king has to go here, otherwise if the king goes in another direction, you can just capture the another knight and you are simply winning this position. You have grabbed all the materials over the board and you're just quickly able to win this. If not, if this is not the case, you give a check and in this position, the best your opponent can do is to capture your knight with the bishop. This is an intermediate move, which we have also learned in our session. So now the bishop takes c3 and we take it with the pawn. That's it. And from here, his queen is under attack still. The knight is in an excellent position. So the problem is that I want to ask the question to the viewers: what happens if the bishop takes bishop? What is the problem with this? Is there any problem? Or that's okay, we can do it. Why can't bishop take bishop? Yeah, guys, please tell me why can't the bishop can take the bishop? That's right. Knight takes the queen. Very good. That's right. Very good. So if the bishop takes the bishop, he will unfortunately lose the queen, which is a very important piece over here for him. And if the knight takes, now you can easily continue this game with bishop here and looking for some checkmate ideas. Just a second. Yeah, we can move our queen here for the ideas to do a checkmate or create a double attack, so on. So that's why in this position, your opponent first decided to take your knight and then take the bishop, then you will lose the queen. So your opponent will play the best move of this position, queen to a5. Even if your opponent plays the best move, you have a chance. You just need to take this bishop. This knight will come here. Then you will give a check. King will come here. Then you will protect your knight. Like first of all, you will castle actually. If they take it, you take their knight. Now the thing is that your idea is to take this knight, but you are attacking such as this. You have created attack on this king. Now you just have to implement. Am I clear? Let me just repeat it. In this position, we just simplified the position which we have learned in the mid-game fundamentals, that in this position, when you have a complex position, more pieces are hanging, you have to simplify the position. So you just capture the bishop with the bishop, simplifying the position, then give a check, deflecting this king to an f8 square. Now here you can just simplify the position by capturing the knight and they capture your knight. But you are not doing so, because if we capture this knight here, your opponent has a very good intermediate move that can make him win this game. That is just give a check, attack your rook, attack your king, and attack your knight. So for that reason, we are first doing the castling and then going for the another place. Is that clear, viewers? You are able to get it? Why we are simplifying this position? Because earlier our knight was attacking this queen, but now this queen is free from that attack. So that's the reason we are simplifying this position, because our bishop is under attack and our knight is also under attack. So we just capture the bishop with the bishop, making a perfect exchange, and after that giving a check to the king and deflecting it from the initial square. Now we castle, they capture our knight and we capture them. Now this move is not so much impactful because you can capture this one. And this is an absolute win. You are creating on this like attack on this knight. And in this position there is a very sneaky trap. You may think that I have plundered a rook, but that's not the case. Here I give you a puzzle like, if they take your rook, what will we do with the white piece? There is a tactics involved here. Try to find the best move in this position. Shout out to the people who has found this move. Please type in the chat. Yes, we are waiting for the response. Go ahead, guys. I gave you 3 minutes time to think about it. I know there is a very intellectual audience over here. I can see some people in the chat. They're typing. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Very good, Kunda. You found the move. Queen f7 checkmate. That's right. We did a checkmate. So here your opponent can't take your rook, because he take the rook, he loses. So he has to protect the knight. He can protect the knight by moving the rook. So they protected this thing. Still, there is a thing, guys, that you should not like protect the rook right now immediately, because we have an idea. I will tell you what. You can just play a simple passive move by moving your king. And now again the question lies in, what will you do if they capture your rook? Let's see if you are able to find the correct move. Here is the tactics that we have learned in the session. Let's see who are the persons who will be able to find it. What should we do with the white pieces right now? That's right. And can you name the tactics, Kundan? Very good. You are able to find every move correctly. That's really great. Yeah, that's correct. Discover attack on the queen, we just move the bishop h6. And if king takes, we just take their queen. So now they can move the knight, but yes, their king is not in a very good shape right now. You can attack this knight, and knight has somewhere to move. That is again back to the initial square. And then if knight goes back, you can just move your rook here. Just a second. Mouse slip. We can move our rook here so that we can just capture this pawn, and then we can create some attack over here. Or if you want to immediately attack them, you can move your rook here, creating a relative pin on this rooks and threatening to capture this knight. You take this knight, rook takes, queen takes, and you will be easily winning this. So that's how the traps is going on with the white pieces over here. Now one more. In the opening only, we are going back. In this position, we choose that knight will capture, then we give a check. So now in this position, there is one more thing is possible. That is, if we give a check with the bishop, they can move the king to f8. So if they move the king to f8, what should we do? Yes. Everybody, if they move the king to f8, what should we do? Find him. There is a developmental move right now. Here, the king goes to f8. So what should we do? Yeah, so make this thing as simple for you guys. We have to just we have to just cast, and now we are threatening to move the knight on e6, making a double because our queen is protected. You can may ask me, what if the bishop captures? How will we proceed? So if bishop takes, which is an possibility, with a check, then what should white do? Yeah, we have to move our king. And now this bishop will not be able to go back because we'll be able to play queen f3 and go with an attack. So that was one of the idea. If we play bishop to b4, we will be able to create an attack, and then we will be able to make an absolute pin. Queen f3, go for the checkmate. Is that clear, everyone? Yeah, castle, that's right. You have found the move. Very good. So there are lots of tactics going over here, and now we are going with a simple idea. I'm gonna give you a puzzle in which, what if the king takes, and how will we continue this position? Just make a plan, and we will be able to understand. Like, what if the king takes? They lose the castling, right? But how will you create an attack? What should we do right now in this position with white pieces? Yes, waiting for your response, viewers. Yeah, that's right. We have to castle. That's right. We have to castle. And if we move the knight, we castle. Attacking this king. And this king has many choices. If this king goes here, now we'll continue our position. First of all, attacking like this knight with the knight. And then we just completely move, like the pawn capture us. So we will move our bishop back. Or we can continue with an idea, first of all, capturing this queen, which is an hanging piece. So keep in mind, guys, Sicilian is a very complicated move. So any mistakes can lead you to lose the piece. Now you have took the knight. It is not only attacking this knight, but it is also attacking the queen. So if your opponent takes your knight, you can take the queen. So the best move in this position for your opponent is to take the knight with the knight, because that just protects the queen. And now if you take the knight, he will take the queen. And this is a simple exchange. You take the knight, they take the bishop, and this game will go peacefully. But you have a better superior position because you have two rooks and two pieces. They have a scrambled structure. This rook is doing nothing at all in this board, and he has to move his king, maneuver the rook, then it would be useful. So first of all, you have to develop your bishop, complete your attack with the knight, and try to use this weakness against your opponent. If not, in this position only, when they take the knight with the knight, if you want to maintain the dynamics of this position, you should give a check to the king and hold on to this position. Don't exchange your pieces immediately, just hold on. And now you capture the queen, making it all the pieces of your opponent at a backward track. And you have a developed bishop, which is making an absolute pin. You will develop your dark square bishop, which will commence with the attack, moving your rook for the attack. Are you getting the things? Please type yes in the chat if you understood. Yes, everyone. I hope you understood the trap related to Dragon Sicilian, which commences with the f4 move, targeting the knight on the f6. You understood, chat? Please type yes, and if you have any doubts, please ask me, like we can just get it to that position. Yes, okay, that's great. All of you have understood about the position. So that's it for the today's session, and we will be coming along with a new learn along series. Till then, see you in the next session. Bye. Bye everybody. Have a nice spring break for the person in US, and have a good night. Bye everyone.